The first among the 7 propositions of the basic framework of Anushilan Tattva further states that one has to cultivate these faculties which all human beings are born with. Through proper cultivation of such, these faculties will develop, and if one persists, then the faculties will ultimately find their fulfillment. This, the Anushilan Tattva declares, is what humanness or humanhood, the term that Bankim uses in his Bangla is manushyattva or manushyatva, consists in. And this is the dharma of man. The extent to which such gradual development and ultimately of each faculty, ultimately the fulfillment of each faculty is to be achieved, is determined by one condition and one condition only: whether all these faculties are in a perfect balance or harmony with each other. Such balanced or harmonious fulfillment of the human faculties is weal or sukha. Bankim admits, I think in another of his more celebrated works, that is Krishna Charitra, that it is rare indeed to come across such perfectly balanced fulfillment through optimum cultivation and development of the human faculties. He enumerates many such faculties, but highlights 4 principal ones: Shaririki, Jnanarjani, Karyakarini, and Chittaranjani. So let me explain what these are. Shaririki is that faculty that has to do with the development of the physique. It is somatic in nature. It has to do with the body. Jnanarjani is that faculty which helps us acquire knowledge from different sources, form concepts or ideas in our brain and synthesize them and put them in a framework so as to make sense of various things, various information that we are bombarded with at all the time that we are awake or even when we are dreaming. Then there is the faculty called Karyakarini. By this, what Bankim means is the faculty of endeavor or initiative, the drive, the will to execute something. It is the enterprising faculty of human beings through which they take initiatives to do something and see it through the end. Finally, Bankim gives us the faculty of Chittaranjani, which is called Chittaranjani. It is the aesthetic sense, aesthetic faculty of human beings that is indicated by this term. Now, as soon as he mentions these 4 main human faculties, in addition to some others, an objection is raised by the Shishya. The Guru is basically giving or listing these faculties, and the Shishya, who's the listener to this discourse and who's also the participant in this discourse, asks questions, raises objections. The objection that the Shishya raises at this point, when the various human faculties are enumerated by the Guru, is this: whether such an ideal is attainable at all. An ideal human being or an ideal being where all the human faculties have been cultivated, developed, and ultimately fulfilled. And also where all these faculties are in harmony, are in perfect balance with each other. If such kind of a being is at all possible to come across. The objection is acknowledged by the Guru and is also resolved. He resolves this objection by saying that God or Ishvara is the only example of such an ideal. However, it is difficult for man, he admits, to comprehend the infinite nature and qualities of Ishvara at first when he has started his sadhana or upasana, when he has started his worship of Ishvara and his journey into a religious life. Therefore, one should make those human lives as the ideal of Anushilan or cultivation who have incorporated greater parts of this ideal. That is, those who are considered already as Ishvara incarnated in the human form. Here we see that Bankim has given new articulation, a reformulation of the Tattva of Avatara. Bankim here gives examples, firstly, of Buddha and Christ, okay, who are the founders and expounders of world religions. He actually gives, examples of 4 classes of beings. The first of such classes is Buddha or Christ. Figures like Buddha or Christ who have founded great religions on earth, who have, expounded upon those religions. And then he talks about the other class of beings who are called rishis, and he enumerates people like Janaka, Narada, Vasishtha. You will see that they are different kinds of rishis. Janaka is called Rajarshi, who's rishi and raja. Narada is called Devarshi, who's a rishi among the devas, among the gods with a small g. And Vasishtha, who's a Brahmarshi, who's a rishi among those who have attained the highest knowledge, or Brahman. This is the second class of beings that Bankim refers to. Then the third one includes figures like Sri Rama, Yudhishthira, Arjuna, Lakshmana, and Devavrata Bhishma, who are the greatest Kshatriyas, who are also kings and philosophers at the same time, who have reached the epitome of political power and are yet detached. They hold the scepters in their hand, and at the same time, they teach the highest dharmic ideals. And ultimately, the final class of people, and actually there is only one who belongs in this class, as mentioned by Bankim, is Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna, as he is found in Mahabharata principally. Through his Krishna Charitra, Bankim establishes the historicity of Sri Krishna as a key personage in the Mahabharata milieu, who had achieved the greatest harmony and fulfillment of all human faculties, and thus he justifies why Hindus worship him or have worshipped him through the centuries as Ishvara, as God. In the 5th and 6th propositions of the Anushilan Tattva, if you remember, orienting the development and fulfillment of human faculties Godwards towards Ishvara has been described by Bankim as Anushilan proper, as cultivation proper, a state which he has called bhakti. Thus, Bankim establishes that bhakti in Ishvara or God, which is the faculty, which is the practice of love, inclusive of love in all beings, is the culmination of the cultivation or Anushilan. It is for this reason that we see in the prologue to Ananda-matth an emphasis on bhakti. If you remember that quotation from the translation of Sri Aurobindo and Baridra Kumar Ghosh, we see that not one's wealth, not even one's life is adequate for the fulfillment of the person who's asking the question whether my heart's desire will be fulfilled or not. And if you go on to read the novel, Ananda-matth, you will see that that desire of the voiceless one was to free Bharat Mata, that is India, from foreign rule. That was the heart's desire with which this person, this voice, had set forth. We will get to know in the novel who this person was, who this voice belonged to. I'm not going into the details of that. You can read the novel and enjoy it for yourself. But the point to be noted here is that not even wealth, not one's entire life are enough for the attainment of such a great ideal, such a great desire, that of freeing one's country from foreign rule. The answer that was given to this unnamed voice by another unnamed voice is that you have to put your bhakti at stake.